Hi, book club members. I'm Jen.
And I'm Carrie.
And this is Warhammer 40k Book Club, where we read from a crag. This is episode number 165, and our book is Archmagos by Guy Haley. It tells the continuing misadventures of Belisarius Cawl in the Imperium Nihilus. We posted several questions on our website, WH40bookclub.com, and we encourage participation in our conversations via YouTube, our site, or Encrypted Vox channel. Spoiler warning. If you haven't yet read the book, definitely check it out before listening to this episode, as we'll be discussing the book from start to finish in great detail. With that, let's dive in. As always, Carrie, did you like the book?
I liked parts of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I wanted to love this book, and the parts that I really liked, I loved.
Yeah.
But
same.
there's...
Yeah.
Parts of it were like a boat anchor around it.
This wasn't Spider-Man 3, but at times it felt like it.
There was a lot going on. There was a lot, like, I almost felt like this was two novellas that got smushed together into one.
Yeah, I kind of felt that same way.
Let's dive in on this one, shall we? What part stood out to you?
Pretty much any conversation between Cawl and his pet Necron head.
Asenath Ayu is giving the energy that we all need right now.
Oh my god.
That was amazing.
Just the whole, like, turns her on, like, I despise you. Yeah. I know this because you keep trying to kill me. So anyway, it's like, I hate you. Yeah, you've already said that. And
my favorite quote is on page 128. When he says, there's something about selling your soul for an eternal existence in steel that implies a certain will to live. Don't you think?
Oh my god. I burst out laughing in my car because I was listening to this and because it was like, have you ever met a Necron with a suicidal tendency? I was like, you know what? We haven't.
No. No, we have
and then he goes on to the explanation, like, that's amazing.
Absolutely delightful.
No, I think probably one of my favorite lines in it was when he's talking to his pet head and she basically was boasting something. He was just like, oh, don't bore me with tales of superiority. You don't see my head in a box, do you?
So I was reading this one aloud to my husband, and when I said that, he literally cackled. That one is so excellent. And furthermore, like, I think it's a little bit later, but when he's discussing like how he would play that game with her.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, sure, I learned a little bit, but that's not really what I was testing for. I was trying to think how Necrons think in general. Like he was playing 4D chess with her.
Oh, yeah. And because she just made an assumption that he's a primitive, she didn't notice. And the fact because of that, he was like, oh yeah, I get their language. Sure, man.
The entire scene with all of the Necrons, I loved when they were dealing with the Pharaon. Oh my god!
I loved all of that.
And like, the war in heaven, like,
oh my god! And when he like betrays them, and Kavo's just like, he was always going to kill us. Don't worry about it.
Well, and I liked when they ask Asenath Ayu about that, and I think it's on page 211, and she's just like, oh, yeah, no, not only did I know that they were going to betray us, I knew that they were going to die because I've never heard of this dynasty, which means they're not alive in the future.
Well, technically, no, they've been in the stasis field in a black hole.
And they've been eradicated by the Flayer curse on this planet.
In a black hole.
In a black hole.
So, like, I got so many reference vibes throughout while listening to this. Like, all I could think of was that Disney movie from the early 80s called The Black Hole.
Oh!
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was one of those things I saw when I was way too young and stuff scared me. So it lives rent-free in my head.
That's fair.
Yeah, like a lot of stuff in that time. There's a lot of disaster movies in that time. Like there's also another one from that time that was rent-free in my head about piranhas. We were all going, and I was convinced I'm going to go to a river and be killed. A lot of stuff like that. Like we talked about this before, like with quicksand. I was going to die of quicksand. I just knew it. But I was afraid of black holes. Why? Why would I ever go anywhere near one? I don't know. So this whole thing with them like, we're going to go in one. I'm like, oh my God, this is totally the Disney movie, The Black Hole. This is what we are doing. And then as they are adventuring together, hear me out here.
Okay.
This little band, they are Winnie the Pooh. Because Cawl is a combo of Winnie the Pooh and Tigger. Kavo is Piglet. Salana is Rabbit, because she's questioning everything. Why are you doing this? I'm so nervous about it. And then you have Primus, Eeyore.
Oh my God. Poor Primus. Poor Primus. Oh, we're going to talk so much about Cawl and his band.
But if anybody's going to sing about the most wonderful thing about Tiggers, it's going to be Cawl, because he gets so excited.
Cawl reminds me more of like, man, he is Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka. Like, he is that level of just blasé.
Don't
like,
stop.
We might die, but don't worry. Don't worry, we might die, but I have this. Don't worry about it. Like, oh my gosh. One of my other favorite lines from him was on page 124 when he's talking about how he's like, I needed help from two people. Can you believe that? And Kavo kind of interrupts and he's like, hush now, Friedrich, you're spoiling my moment of modesty.
Yes.
He talks about later, he's like, I had 2 moments of modesty in one day. Unheard of. Just reminds me so much of that. Like, you can absolutely see this like Willy Wonka nutty professor character. He just, I think that Guy Haley is at the top of his game when he's writing Belisarius Cawl.
Well, you can tell he definitely enjoys the character.
He loves Cawl. God, he loves Cawl. Can you see that? The other thing that I wanted to call out that I just really liked, because it was like, woo, tickled my fancy, was on page 73 when the Iron Warriors were musing on how they don't like the AdMech, but they also don't like the Dark Mechanicus because of all of their mysticism.
Right.
And inherently practical beings, the Iron Warriors, aren't they?
Well, and then they make a pact with the demon and wonder why it doesn't go the way they want it.
God, they don't just make a pact with a demon. They make a pact with one of the demons. Don't worry, we'll get there. Okay, we have to talk about Call's calling about. And you kind of talked about this with the Winnie the Pooh piece. I'm willing to go along with this, but what did we think of his misadventures this time?
I think he summed it up best at the end when he was just like, that was so amazing. We saved the world and went on an adventure. Maybe think of Bilbo.
He is living his best life.
He made me think of Bilbo at the beginning of The Hobbit, where he's running out his door yelling, I'm going on an adventure. Yeah.
I'm going on an adventure. Yes, exactly that. Exactly that. Man, only this man. Not only would he go towards a planet that's being sucked into a black hole, down onto, and like the Rube Goldberg machine that it took to get him down onto this planet. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, including having a head. And I say Rube Goldberg because first you had the tunnel, then you had a second tunnel. And then let's not forget you have a Necron head in a box. Oh my God. But the audacity, for me, it's the audacity of going down to a planet that is stuck in the war in heaven. Like when they're walking around and they're like, they look Eldari, but they're missing their soul stones. Yeah, they would be, wouldn't they?
At that time, yeah. Because the women way before Slaanesh.
Uh-huh. Crazy.
Like how many millions of years did he say? It was like 6 million years, 3 million years?
It's like 3 or something like that. Yeah, like humans aren't even a thing yet.
Right.
And yeah, holy cow. The audacity. And he's just so blasé about it. Like, oh, it's the war in heaven. Yeah, okay. That's where we are right now. Just sorry, what? I feel like the Adeptus Mechanicus is gonna have words.
Maybe.
For him.
I mean, who's going to give him these words? I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, he does tend to stay away, but Aramantius is
to be fair.
We're going to talk about that.
They're not going to listen to this Historitor because they already had marked her to become a servitor.
Right, but they will listen to we're going to talk more about Aramantius later because I really want to dive into that one. But
oh, right. I forgot about that at the very end.
Mm-hmm. Cawl just, man, he just kind of does his own thing, huh? He's definitely an omelets and eggs type of guy, though.
Well, but we
And
knew that
again,
from the great work when he released to
oh,
Catan.
100%. He might be the greatest villain to the Necrons currently. He released a
Probably.
Catan shard. He killed this entire dynasty. Like it was kind of funny because as like they talk about the planet ripping apart, again, my first thought was that is irreplaceable. Like, sir. And just the revelation of how much he knows about the Necrons. And then of course, the revelation with him and Kavo. Or just how this is like the most human Kavo. So many questions about Kavo too.
Oh, he's practically Friedish at this point, except that he's not as argumentative as Friedish was.
Right. For sure not. So okay. Here's what I can. So technically, it feels like Salana is sort of the protagonist of this story, right? Because they kind of everything with Cawl revolves from her lens because she's been sent there to spy on him. Which I did like that Felix was honest about that, but she wasn't. And he Call's just kind of like, yeah, I know you're here to spy on me. Were you invested in Salana? Like, was she a good protagonist? Did you like her as a character?
I mean, I was kind of meh on her. I was very indifferent with what happened with her.
Same. Like, she was there really just to literally, like, she was a historiator for Reboot Guilliman, right? Like, she's obviously a spy, but she was also acting as the historiator for us. Like,
Right.
she's the only reason we know what's going on. And I think you did need to have that sort of fish out of water character. I don't think it would have been as interesting if it had just been Cawl, Kavo, and Primus, who were just kind of on the lazy river that is being dragged behind Belisarius Cawl.
Well, it's the same thing from the great work, right? At that time, we had Felix. He was the spy.
Right. And this time you have Salana, who we're seeing all this through her. And I guess, I don't know. I didn't pick up a lot off of her. I think I was with you. I was kind of indifferent on her. I mean, I liked that she was there. I liked her presence. I liked using her to tell the story. But as far as her as a person,
yeah.
Although I would like if maybe she becomes a friend for Primus. But Primus needs a friend. Maybe that's all he needs is a woman, like a woman's touch, like with like the, what's his face? Valerian with My Giant Soulless Babies, right? Like maybe he just needs somebody who he's like, yeah, you're not Belisarius Cawl or Kavo. And
I don't know. I think the only thing
sucks.
Primus needs is the long nap.
Yeah. Poor Primus. My heart just aches for him every time we see him.
Because Belisarius, like,
story.
I don't know, he acts like he really cares for him, like he's one of his sons. But I'm like, but do you really? Or is he just useful because you have all 20 smacked into one? He's got all the powers. Because if you really cared about him, I think you would find ways of alleviating the constant pain that he is in. But no, he's useful.
I think he cares for him in as much as Belisarius Cawl cares for anything. You know what I mean? Like, to the extent that he is able to care about somebody, I think he cares about Primus. I do firmly believe that he cares about Primus largely out of hubris.
I think he cares for Primus as much as he cares about anything else he creates.
I think he cares
we
for
can't
Primus
let this thing
about
break.
About as much as the Emperor cared for the Primarchs.
Ooh.
He is a very useful hammer.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And he's very, very useful. But the only reason I think he cares for him in a really twisted way was that in that the book with him and Fabulous Bill, Gene Father, when they're basically when they pull out his gene seed and they threaten to kill him, and Belisarius Cawl is like, no, you can't do that. I do think he has some type of affection. I think he has as much affection for Primus as my cat has for me.
Well, maybe.
Right? I'm useful. I provide food. And you know what? Every now and then.
Honestly, I think the only person he cares about is Friedish. And even that's for his own selfish reasons.
Oh, 100%. 100%. He just wants company and he needs somebody to listen to how brilliant he is. But somebody that he can trust.
Mm-hmm.
We do get to see Felix again in this book, though.
I guess.
Did you like his portrayal in this
No.
book? Were you invested?
No.
Okay, can I ask why? I'm wondering if you and I
I was
picked
just
up on the same
bored.
thing.
I was just bored.
Mm.
You know, the
I
whole thing with the Pit of Raucous, I'm like, I'm bored. I'm bored.
Man, that
And
Ulfheim section was rough.
and
It was
even at the end when he's
rough.
fighting against, you know, the general of
The Thrangor.
the soul grinders, I was still just like, it was honestly like, yes, I know he's not going to be killed because he has character plot armor. I'm get this, but the amount of times he was ready to die and get saved at the last minute drove me insane. We can just have one of those. We don't need like 2 or 3.
You know, I'm going to keep it real. Toward the end there when he was fighting with Thrangor, yeah, Felix isn't dying. We know you're not killing Felix, or at least I'm 99% certain you're not killing Felix.
Mm-hmm. Or at least not in a permadeath way.
Yeah, I found myself the entire time. I'm like, I know that Belisarius Cawl is going to swoop in and Deus Ex Machina this.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is how and when.
Oh, he
So I
turns
was
on the
entirely
machine.
It's just waiting for that to happen. And we kind of knew that that was going to happen, right? So it kind of felt like at that point I was like,
You know what it's like?
okay, we see where this is going.
It's like the end of the Gremlins movie when they finally turned on the lights.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You're just kind of waiting for it. Yeah. Well, and the thing that's kind of funny is when he's going out to face Thrangor, I really liked his internal monologue of like thinking about his mother and his father and the Emperor and Guilliman and just everything that's been through, right? He has this really wonderful monologue internally, but I was like, wow, this is kind of pointless.
I kind of rolled my eyes at that. And that was mainly because, you know, it was near the beginning. I don't remember who Felix was talking to. Like, do you have any memories of your mother and father? And he's like, no. And then this happens. Now he does. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Right.
Okay.
No, I also picked up on that. I think here's my big complaint about Felix. I did not like his portrayal in this book, and I'll tell you why. It is okay for him to not like Cawl. I understand why he doesn't like Cawl.
Right.
It is okay for him to not trust Cawl, right? Because there's all these questions out there, and I don't mind him ruminating on, there's all these rumors out there about Cawl, and he's dangerous. He does all these things he shouldn't do. But the complaining about the personal pain that Cawl caused him, like the physical and emotional pain, and like, well, you took me away, and shut the this is unbecoming of a space marine. Now you're just being petulant. That I did not enjoy that at all. In fact, I had like such a no reaction to that. And that's not Felix. Like, go back and think about Felix in The Great Work. That's not the same character. Again, you can have some conflicting emotions because you're like, yeah, this was the guy. I remember waking up to this guy experimenting on me, and that was kind of weird, and I don't like that, and I don't like anything else he does. That's fine. Whinging about his pain.
I was like okay with that was actually in The Great Work, because like when Cawl would say, he's like, I loved you like a father to his son. He's like, you tortured and experimented on me as a child. And then, you're just basically like, what are you talking about? Like, you were cruel to me. That's totally get that. That is fine. But you're right. But the whining now is like, I'm remembering all these tortures and this was just awful. I'm just like, okay, fine. He tortured you. He experimented on you. You've already mentioned that to him, and we get that now. You don't want to like him, fine. Move on. But this whole thing is just like, but I still need his his approval, like us, like a father to a son. Like, pick a lane. Just please pick a lane.
The conflicted emotions and it's just whinging. Like you're whinging to this guy. And I'm sorry, did you miss the point where you live in the 40k universe? Life is pain and misery. Oh, and BT dubs, I understand that torture and all the experimentation must have sucked. But did you talk to the space wolves Did you ask what their recruits go through? Ask the Space Wolves what their recruits go through. Ask the Blood Angels what their recruits go through. You absolutely could have gone through it the old-fashioned way, but if you're like, oh, they would have just had such a really nice time and we would have been eating tea and crumpets in the garden. No, friend. No. Like, you just got a different form of misery. I'm so sorry. That is what it is to become a Space Marine.
Well, I mean, he's got experimented on to figure out how to make, the Primaris for over thousands of years. I get it.
Yes, I understand that. However, when the way that he made it sound, when he's just like, oh, I would wake up and you were hurting me and torturing me. Dude, shut the fuck up. Just please stop. Please stop. We've been over this. You are a better character than this. And this is not becoming of the Tetrarch of
Right.
Reboot Guilliman. Put on your big girl panties. God. Sorry, that one really was like, that one really, I really struggled with Felix's characterization. And the entire thing of Ulfheim, I was just not that interested in it. It was it felt like chewing space. And it also felt like, because there wasn't a lot of action going on with Belisarius Cawl, like bolter porn, basically, it felt like an excuse to have some bolter porn.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like padding to me, to be totally honest.
It really did. It felt like an interesting short story, right? About like a bunch of guys being on a planet, having to constantly deal with these demon incursions. But then it kind of just got thrown into here. And the difference between the Primaris wolves versus the Fenrisian wolves, right? We've seen this before. Like, we've already seen this. I don't know that we needed to have more ruminations, unless it was really just Guy Haley wanting to like, well, hey, I kind of want to put my little spin on this.
I guess.
Yeah, I would get to those sections and just be like, oh, it's another one of these. And the soul grinders, it was just kind of like, well, now I have to.
One thing that cracked me up, though, about the wolf spear. So they're not part of the Vilka Fenrica. Fucking space wolves, just adopt it, all right, and move on. Anyway, so they're not part of it, and yet the High Jarl kept talking about Reboot being the Legion breaker. I'm like, excuse me, sir, but you're not part of the Legion. You're
that guy was Vilka Fenrica. That was what's his face?
I thought he was.
That was the Rune Priest.
I thought he was the High Jarl of the Wolf Spear, which is like a separate chapter.
Oh, I thought I
because they made a big deal that the Unnumbered Sun was never going to be a space wolf. He was going to one of the chapters.
Right, and they had that guy, but he was talking with, I would have sworn he was talking with the Rune Priest from, what is his name? Ulfrere.
I thought he was talking to the High Jarl, who kept calling him the Legion Breaker.
The Legion Breaker, yeah. Which it's fine. It's fine. Whatever. But like, and I like his take on them. There was another line I really liked when Belisarius Cawl was talking about them drinking the mead, and he's like, isn't that delightful? It proves that Space Marines are still human. Mm-hmm. Like, that's actually a really good point. It really does. I would have sworn it was Ulfrere who was calling him the Legion Breaker, but maybe I was wrong. But they, this whole idea of like, we have these guys who are space wolves, but they're not actually Fenrisian, and so they're kind of space wolves. They're, I don't even know what to say. Like, I wasn't that interested in those portions. Like, it would happen, and I would just be like, yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Let's go. Let's move along, please. And it was also a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Now I'm looking for that chapter. I would have sworn that I had marked this chapter where he was talking about the Legion Breaker. The Soul Grinders, it felt a little bit like overkill. And that's the other reason that I was like, oh man, it's going to have to be a Deus Ex Machina on this. You cannot send in 50 Soul Grinders and be like, and they fought them all and killed them all. I'm going to go with no on this one, especially with Vashtor. How pissed off is Vashtor, or not Vashtor, with Nethrangor? How pissed off is Nethrangor? Like, I came all this way.
You trusted a demon, though.
Even the demons get screwed over by the demons, which I really like. Yeah. Like, even they can't trust him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Was Vashtor a compelling antagonist, and was he well utilized in this story?
Yeah. So with his little spiel at the end about like the I allowed this, all I could think of, again, another reference coming here, was the Emperor's spiel in Return of the Jedi. And he's talking to Luke, where he's like, I allowed you to find these codes. I allowed you to land on Endor. You know, I allowed all this to happen. It's just like, okay, great. So yes. So you allowed all these things to happen to get you to this place. All right, cool, sure, whatever. I've already
Because
read
you
stuff
need
like this.
Belisarius Cawl.
It was called Ahriman, but you know, that's cool. I
Well,
know demons play the long
God.
game.
Yeah, but this was good and Armin's trash. No, I'm kidding. No, I kind of had a feeling that was going to be what this was, is that he was going to be like, yeah, no, you don't understand what's going on here. Like, you guys have totally missed it. When he was off talking with Silic, right, when he's like in his meditation stage, and then he's kind of bouncing his consciousness over all of the machines. I was like, oh, okay, so there's something, he's playing a different game than these guys think they're playing. And that is, yeah, again, you're okay. This to me felt like it was more of like a chess move, like within the larger 40k lore that, okay, Vashtor's stuck on the other side of the rift and he needs to get to the good side of the rift. He needs to get out of Imperium Nihilus because he's got plans and stuff. I don't know that made him well utilized in this story. That also, and look, I love me the Iron Warriors.
It made sense.
It made sense. It also kind of felt like filler in sections. Like, I didn't care about Silic. I did like what purpose did Silic kind of serve there? That kind of felt like
he was
padding, and he was a go-between, but I don't know. I was not that emotionally invested in any of that. And I love the Iron Warriors. Everyone knows I love the Iron Warriors. I'm drinking out my Iron Warriors cup tonight. But even I was like, oh man, this is just kind of filler. And I liked all of the Iron Warriors that they had in this, but I don't know. It just kind of felt like filler. And when you think about it, they didn't really affect anything with Belisarius Cawl.
No, they were like the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Kind of like this entire story happens without them. Even like because of the soul grinders just get killed by the pylons. But here's the thing. Belisarius Cawl was going to turn those pylons on when he got to that planet anyways.
Right.
So it's not like he was like, oh my God, there's an army of soul grinders. I have to turn them on.
No, he just needed the knowledge on how to turn them on and tune them and all. That's why they went down to the data nexus. So.
Right. Like, and I don't know, that portion felt a little frustrating to me. And it's not that I actually, just super clear, I actually really like Vashtor the Arcane as a character. I thought his characterization was really great. I really liked him. Like this whole idea that there's this demon out there that just controls all this technology. I have some questions that we're going to talk about later for what happens next in this. But like, it felt like it was its own, again, another short story that was off on its side, or even a novella about how these Iron Warriors get Vashtor the Arcane, and how Vashtor the Arcane is then like, okay, we gotta hitch a ride with Belisarius Cawl, basically, going on next so that we can get to the good side of the rift. As far as the story, and look, I did not like Columbari Enos, so screw that guy and his disciples of Null. Your leader sucked.
I cracked up and they were like, you know that she's been dead for 9,000 years. And they're all like, what?
I absolutely loved that. Not only is she dead, she did not die a good death. There's like, oh my God, she was the best. No. She really wasn't. She was pretty ridiculous, honestly. I liked that. So, if you're going to kill some Dark Mechanicus guys, I'm all for that. I love that. Because much like the true Mechanicus, the AdMech, who overstate their understanding of their own technology, I did like the idea, that the Dark Mechanicus was like, oh, no, we can totally bind this demon. No, the fuck you cannot. You don't have that kind of power.
I think one thing I did like, about the Iron Warrior when he was discussing why he didn't like the Mechanicus period, which I just kind of find that interesting with the Iron Warriors in general. But he was
I
talking
don't
about
like the mysticism. It's
the
just a machine.
the dark mechanic. No, it wasn't even that. He was just like, they're willing to go too far for the quest for knowledge. Like they're
Right.
willing to sell everything for knowledge. But at the same time, then here is, I can't even pronounce his name. I think trying to make a pact with the demon.
Oh, Kraverick?
Yes, Kraverick. Like you're
Oh my God, I loved that whole scene when he's like, actually, I have a law degree in contract law. Let's talk through this. I thought that whole scene was actually delightful because I really liked when Vashtor was like, oh, maybe you're not as dumb as I thought you were. Like, I thought you were ridiculous, but actually, it reminds me. Here's my turn for a reference. There's a scene where in the show Metalocalypse where the devil shows up to buy Deathclock souls, and they're like, actually, let us discuss this contract. And instead of selling their souls, they end up giving him like they offer that they'll do a free concert, and they give him Hot Topic gift cards. It reminded me so much of that scene. I was like, yes, this is amazing. But I guess it kind of makes sense for him because Kraverick, if you don't really truck with demons and you're not like, there's not the mysticism element of them, you can take the step back and be like, but what are you actually offering me here? Let's talk this through.
There was that, but it was just the fact that he was, so disdainful of making pacts with demons for knowledge, yet he has no problem doing this for his own potential gain. It's just, I don't know. Again, it's some of the hypocrisy surrounding the Iron Warriors to begin with.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. That is absolutely one of their biggest things, right? It's like, oh, no, we don't like chaos. It's just a tool to be used. Okay. When you're making a deal with the demon, that's not a tool you're using.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're like, we're partners.
Mm-hmm. No, but just when he's just like, this was not our bargain. I'm like, oh, pumpkin. You fucked up.
Darling.
You trusted him.
Yeah, darling, I got such bad news for you.
But I liked it when Vashtor was just like, next time you make some terms, you may not want to make them so open-ended and open to interpretation. Like, yeah.
Yep. That whole reveal was pretty delightful. It was very much like, I really liked the character. I like the concept of Vashtor the Arcane, and I really liked his characterization, that he is very much that oily, slippery.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't really, you didn't specify exactly. Here's my other reference. It reminded me, there's a great scene in the Gargoyles animated show where Demona makes a deal with Puck, and he's like, did you say that human or that human? And he's like, oh, never mind. I'll just figure it out myself. And of course, havoc ensues, right? I loved it. He felt very much like that, where he's like, ooh, yeah, you didn't really like spell it out. So I liked at the end that Kraverick's like, yeah, no, let's draw pictures for one another.
Or, like that, oh my gosh, old Simpsons episode was like, well, it says here that there's no money down. Oh, there's punctuation. No, money down.
Simpsons, that's a good one too. Simpsons references are always excellent. All right. We have a lot to talk about. What happens next after this book? Whew. I'm going to go a little out of order on my questions because the first one is the one that I really want to talk about. Now that Cawl has this pylon technology, what does the Imperium do next after they've gone to Disney World?
Well, isn't he supposed to figure out a way to close the rift with this technology? It's like step 1, open a gate. Step 2,
Question mark.
Step 3, close the rift and great profit.
Pretty much. Yes is the answer to that question. But you have to remember that the whole reason this fell apart to begin with was because, and I'm actually okay with this retcon just to make it work, is like that they were killing Abaddon's Black Crusades, were knocking out pylons across the galaxy, right? Mm-hmm. So if we assume, just for sake of argument, let's assume that there were 13 Black Crusades, and that means that there were 13 planets, maybe a couple more here and there, that all had pylons on them, with Cadia being like the big one. That means that we're probably going to have, we as the Imperium are going to have to build a similar pylon network and we have one of them. So it's almost like Belisarius Cawl now has to launch reverse Black Crusades. And technically, couldn't he just go back to those planets that already kind of have pylons on them and be like, okay, we can fix this shit?
Well, from what I remember from reading Cadius Stands, they were totally uprooting the pylons and taking them.
Yeah,
so you'd have
true.
to rebuild them. I mean, Acadia's gone anyway, but if they did that with other planets, then you would have to rebuild them to begin with.
That's true. And then just turn them on, which, oh boy. But I feel like from a meta side, this is like one of those like, okay guys, like we broke the universe a few years ago with the Rift, but don't worry. We can rebuild it. We can make it better. $6 million Imperium. Old references are current. But like, and this is more of a meta question. That's not happening anytime soon.
Oh, no, of course not.
And does closing the Rift start endgame?
Well, I think closing the Rift would close the Age of Indominus. That was the whole point of it.
For sure.
Of Indominus was to close the Rift. And so then maybe that's when the lion comes back. I mean.
And we can talk about the lion again, who's just sitting on ice for forever. He's out there doing something, lying about. But that was the one thing when I got to the end of this, I was like, this is amazing. But you killed one little itsy bitsy tiny baby Rift.
Well, they just made a gate.
Oh, and Vashtor the Arcane is really unhappy about this concept, as very technically, literally everybody should be unhappy about this concept. If you're on the chaos side of the house, everybody should be grumpy about this concept. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, they basically made the Panama Canal of the Rift.
Pretty much, right? Absolutely. And now, but here's the thing is that now that you've opened this, now that you have this canal, anyone can use it. And it sounds like if Vashtor the Arcane can't get on the other side of it, I'm willing to bet, like, even Chaos is having trouble getting out of Imperial Nihilists. Mm-hmm. So thank you for opening up a canal for them. Worth it in the end, but...
Well, you know that he's going to set up, because we're going to have to guard our precious canal, right? You just can't have it to be willy-nilly. We're going to have our own little space stations guarding all these points in the canal.
Yeah, probably. Back
when the solar system, the Sol system, had those gates coming in that they destroyed at the very beginning of this of Solar War as they were coming through. I imagine it's going to be very similar to that.
Yeah, I would say that's probably a safe bet on that. What does Guilliman make of all this? Is he just grateful that he has new toys? Like, is this going to be one of those ends justifies the means things?
I have no idea what he's thinking.
I guess we'll have to find out, but it seems like, man, once all of the Historiator stuff goes back there, like just the blatant risks that Cawl takes, right? And look, you don't have to be like, no, we have to adhere to all of the AdMech and doctrine, and we can't do anything outside we can't color outside the lines at all. But there's a difference between we can't color outside the lines and yeah, we actually didn't even bother with that picture at all. We just went off and did our own thing. Cawl definitely walks that line.
Oh, yeah. He always has, though.
He always has. And I guess actually on the grand scheme of things, oops, I destroyed a Necron planet is not nearly as bad or as sad as, oops, I released a Catan shard.
That won't bite me in the ass.
No, not at all. But
Although it'd be
You are
funny
going to
if,
have
like,
to.
he does all, like you're saying, he does all these things and it wipes out all the Necrons.
Oh my God, he just continues to go to all these planets to get this information. The Necrons should also be like, actually, we're going to stand back and let the humans cook because they also do not truck with the warp. So if they're going to kill
Right.
off all the warp, they'll be like, let's see how this plays out for the humans, actually. And the ones who aren't gripped by madness and the Flayer curse, obviously.
Obviously, yes.
But this is going to be like now Guilliman's in a super awkward situation because this is still Necron technology. He went down, he communicated with Necrons, he took their technology, one. Then he also massaged and manipulated it to fix it and make it a little bit better so that he can then power pylons that are essentially based off of Necron technology.
Right.
Oh, the AdMech is going to have a field day with that. And Guilliman has already gone on record. He does not like this.
Right, because I mean, one thing that sticks out in my mind is from Dark Imperium, the first book, Dark Imperium. Wait, was that the first one, Dark Imperium?
That was the whole series. The first one was the first one?
I think the first one was Dark Imperium. Am I wrong?
Gosh, I don't remember where my copies are. Damn it. I even have the special editions and I don't know where they are.
Oh, these are my computer glasses. I can't see that far.
Yes. It is Dark Imperium, then Dark Imperium Plague War, and then Dark Imperium Godlight.
Right.
Yes.
So Dark Imperium, when he's talking about how he's already had to have conversations with the Mechanicus about, will you stop trying to use alien technology? Like, destroy it. Don't study it, just destroy it. So there is that, and now this. So, but I don't know. He's a brilliant strategist, but he's also he walks a line and calls, and like you're saying, calls like an omelets and eggs person.
Absolutely. And the ends justify the means. And I don't know if, like, yeah, he's a strategist, but like, is this part of that strategy that, yeah, okay, maybe we're going to have to turn a blind eye to this?
Going to be like, if you don't tell me what you made this out of, then I just won't know.
Right. I could see him going either way. Like, I could see him just being like, okay, we have a safe passage to the rift. You know what? This is a future me problem. We will deal with this later. Or I could see him being like, no, you needed to figure out something else. You needed to do something else through this. Could see him going either way. Here's one of the questions that I have, though. Vashtor mentions that he has something he's playing with on the other side. He has a scheme in motion already on the other side of the rift.
Oh, God, who knows? I mean, there's so much crap going on. Who knows?
Can I posit a theory here that I was thinking about?
Okay, sure.
The Cawl Inferior.
Oh, crap. I was actually thinking about that. Cawl Inferior is pretty much an abominable intelligence.
Yeah. And it is definitely, it's sort of asking, and doesn't that feel like just the demon-y thing to do? Of like, oh yeah, here's all the information you needed. Oh, hey, by the way, make me Fabricator General? No? Okay, well, here's some of the information you want. You know what? Actually, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to answer that question for you now.
If Guy Haley has been planning this since Plague War, I will have to give him like a slow clap of the ages.
Right. That, oh, by the way, not only is this basically an AI, it's an AI that has been thoroughly hacked by a demon. Hacked by a Demon is my band name. Throwing that out there. But it also could be something much more benign, right? It could absolutely just be like, oh, I'm just messing with the Mechanicus in general. I'm messing with this, that, or the other thing. Like,
right.
When you have that kind of power and that kind of reach, right?
Maybe he just wanted access to Mars.
You know, that could be.
He could have fun on Mars.
Power. Yeah, you would think with his power, he would already, like, there's an implication there that he would have already have been, like, he already has an eyeball on Mars. I don't know. I bet you he can access what's in the catacombs of Mars. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, God. He releases the Omnissiah.
Yeah, the what is that? The Void Dragon.
The Void Dragon.
Yeah, like
That'd be
all your machine spirits, but
that'd be fun. Actually, it'd be a lot of fun.
Really funny.
I don't think
all
it'll
of a sudden they're
happen,
machine
because I
spirits.
think that'd be too lore breaking, but it'd be fun.
Right. I don't know, but here's the other question I guess I would ask as a follow up to that is that this sort of implies that Vashtor is going to be like a major player in the 40k universe in general, that this guy's coming out and he's going to be running around.
Hey, perhaps, but we've kind of seen this before, though, when we heard that things are going to be. Remember, the Silent King was going to be a major player. Well, he's not doing anything.
Oh, right. Remember when an entire Primarch came back? Anyways, I'm not bitter. You're bitter. Yeah, I guess that could be right. I like this is one of those things where I was like, ooh, this is a welcome addition. I actually like a guy who's playing the long game and has a finger in everything. And is working with a guy who desperately wants to curry favor with Abaddon.
This just kind of begs the question, what is Abaddon doing right now?
He well, I mean, I guess Fabulous Bill has Primus's gene seed, so now he can manufacture a Primaris Chaos Marines in theory, right? But of course he's going to put his own little Fabulous Bill twist on it, which means they're going to suck.
He's going to muck them up because it's Fabulous Bill.
Of course he is. He's going to be like, oh, let me put some of my own razzle dazzle. Oh, they suck.
Something weird.
Yeah, for sure. That, or he's going to try and do what Cawl did with Primus. It's like, ooh, look at this. I can make nothing but chimeric legions. Maybe not all 20 because that's flying a little too close to the sun, but
but everything,
who's to say?
Everything Bile does is chimeric, going all the way back to the Horus Heresy.
Exactly. So I feel like they're going to get like the great value version. The Timu version, if you will, of the Primaris Marines.
The Wall Primaris.
Exactly. They're just going to have to wait for Primaris to defect to them. Because, yeah, whatever Cawl makes is going to suck. They're going to all be like the newborn from
you mean Bile? You said Cawl.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Yes, Bile. Whatever Bile makes, he's going to put his own little stamp on it.
He's going to put his own little fingers in it, and it's going to be weird, and it's going to suck.
What about Aramantius? What is he up to, and who does he work for?
Nothing good.
Nothing good. He, like, when he sends that message at the end, is he working with the Inquisition or is he working with the AdMech?
I'm going to guess the AdMech.
And to what end?
To get Mars to turn against Cawl. Or he's sending him proof of his heresy.
To what end, though? Again, like, I'm not saying I'm not dismissing it. I'm here again. I'm here for it. I like a good. But first off, did you see that coming at all? Did you?
No. I actually did not see the whiny little guy being a spy.
Right, he's totally a spy. Man, and that was kind of crappy too. When he goes down to the wolf spear, like, no, I'll give you all the materials you need. Just don't tell anyone. I cannot imagine. Well, I guess there would be like a real needs-based thing, right? Of like, no, we absolutely need supplies.
Mm-hmm.
So, sure, I'll send off your message. But I could also see him being like, yeah, I'll send off your message.
I don't know.
And then I'll tell people.
I was just like, I'm doing this, for the Imperium, and I get stuff.
Right. And we need supplies. We need this stuff. So this is like one of those, yeah, sure, I'll do something.
Do I think he's going to live very long? Probably not.
No, I would agree with that statement. Because, yeah, Aramantius, if he's whoever he's working with, right, to have that kind of power and that kind of implied power and influence, I guess I should say, we're kind of taking him at face value here. And he also does not seem to think much of Salana, and given Salana and Cawl's proximity to Guilliman, just feels like yet another.
Or
Yet another nonsense that he has to deal with.
Or is it the High Lord's Terra?
That is a possibility I had not considered. I don't know.
To be continued.
Seriously, I was not expecting that. I kind of suspected that maybe he wasn't necessarily like, he felt a little shifty in the beginning, but I didn't think nearly to this level where he's like, nope, this is all, we need to burn this all to the ground. Send off this message. Whom did he contact and what did he say? Like, how do you even begin to say what, like, do you just leave off, like, do you just very tastefully edit it? Like, oh my God, dude went to a Necron planet and used Necron technology, period. Not started the pylons and closed a little piece of the rift and created a safe passage. That's not important right now. What is important, and actually I think whoever he's talking to at the admech, if it's on the admech, would probably absolutely be like, yeah, no, that's not important right now.
Right.
It's so disappointing at how just much of their own enemy they really are.
Or didn't they discuss this in the beginning about empire building?
Okay. Were you as fascinated by Felix's take on the 500 worlds as I was?
Yeah. So, sorry, more conspiracies are popping in my head because
Please
everyone is flipping out over Guilliman taking back the 500 worlds. Like, he gave him up before then. Actually, he didn't. He didn't. But you know, history has a weird way of rewriting itself. So between that, everyone's freaking out about that. Fabian finding the unremembered empire. And now they got this canal to connect the empire. Is this just more, I guess, fodder for the idea that Guilliman's trying to become the new emperor?
Yeah, 100%. I think so.
Maybe that's what Aramantius was sending word on. It's like, more proof.
More proof. He is trying to usurp the emperor. I really did like Felix's
he took a sword.
musing.
He took a sword.
Right.
Because the guy was using it, sitting on the chair.
And apparently nobody knows that the lion has his shield because nobody's seen the lion. It's been like 3 years, you guys. I think it actually might have been longer than that now. I want to say that book came out in 2022, but we can fact check that in a second. Yes, I think is the short answer to that. And I think, unfortunately, one of the things I worry about with Felix is I feel like Felix is starting to doubt both Cawl and Guilliman, right? Like when he was like kind of musing on the 500 worlds and he's like, man, this is also why everybody thinks you're trying to create your own empire over here. And then you have Cawl who's doing what he's doing, right? And him questioning that. I feel like you're starting to see these little fractions. And yes, with Fabian finding the unremembered empire, I am sure that is going to come back into play at some point.
I mean, it doesn't matter the fact as soon as they found out that the emperor wasn't dead, they dissolved it immediately and like, we got to go to Terra. It doesn't matter that Guilliman always had the 500 worlds.
Right.
And was still
none of that matters.
Imperium. So
we have decided that you are questionable. You are making changes we don't like, and so this is now proof that you are a bad person and you are doing bad.
This all comes from the High Lords being afraid of losing their power. 100%.
Oh, 100%. That's exactly what this is. They're terrified for their own reach, their own influence, and their own standing within the Imperium. They're not concerned really about him trying to usurp the emperor. They don't like. I mean, the Imperium is just very static. They do not like things that upset the order.
We like being fat off of other people's labors.
Right. Figuratively or literally with the High Lords, because some of them aren't.
Well,
but
no,
yeah, they are.
Like the assassin.
Figuratively.
But some of them, for sure.
Right. Figuratively, they are.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Yeah. I think you might be right. So regardless, Aramantius, I feel like Okay, question I forgot to put on the page, but
So that whole thing with Aramantius, honestly, it made me think of Horus Rising vibes at the very end when you find out that Erebus took
yeah.
the knife. You're like, we don't know what's going on here. So then that whole thing is like, aha, there's an interesting spy / traitor / in our midst.
Right. So here's my question that I forgot to put down on the page before I had a sneezing fit. Does this set up for a third book?
I thought this was the third book.
Genefather is a novella. Are we thinking that this is the third book and that Genefather is kind of the middle bridge between the great work and this?
Yes.
Or is it? I don't know. I feel like there's another. Maybe I just want another book. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is the third book and it's done.
I don't think it's done. I could totally. Please. If Orman gets a fifth book, surely Cawl can too. Let's be real here.
Now I'm looking on the Warhammer community site.
For what?
Show me. Well, I don't know. Maybe they have something on those. I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not.
Like, why are you going there? They're not going to have any info.
You know, you're not entirely wrong. Yeah, I don't see anything on their site about it. So I don't know if it's the third book or not. Maybe, and I'm probably just, their search sucks so bad. I'm probably just not finding it because I'm using the wrong keywords.
Did you try typing it in German?
Oh, you know what? No, I didn't. Or en français. They also like to seem to throw the French back in. Yeah, overall, like I thought the book, I really loved parts of it. I really liked other parts, and parts of it I was like, oh.
It made me laugh a lot.
If it is, I did laugh a lot with Cawl. If there's another book that comes after this, yay, I'm excited. But if not, that's also fine. Maybe Felix can iron himself out.
But I also will be mad if in 4 years we still don't know what Aramantius was doing. So.
Yeah, that's the truth. So many good ideas thrown out there and then just promptly discarded.
That's the Black Library's MO.
It is kind of Warhammer in general, like Warhammer in general, I would say their MO. Here's a cool idea. We might come back to it. I don't know. Talk to us in 10 years or something.
But I think that's the problem when it's, when you're trying to follow along with a tabletop game, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%, yeah.
Because you're like, oh, look, the Silent King. Oh, crap, nobody cares. Moving on to this thing now. And that's just kind of the way it goes, right?
Right. Agreed. But this was a good, I feel like we've gotten a lot of everything at the start of this year. Yep. We had this was a little bit of bolter porn, also a little bit of just adventure, I guess. We had more adventure earlier with the Mike Brooks book. It's been good. Hopefully our next book is equally adventurous. And I left it upstairs because I am lame and I suck. We have
it is
Vagabond Squadron
by Robbie Mack.
The limited edition looks so nice. I just have the hardcover of that one. It looks so nice,
here's
though.
The hardcover. Yeah.
I love the art on it.
It is pretty. But I love the symbol in the back. Because I like griffins. They're cool. Of all the weird mythological creatures, griffins are just kind of fun.
They are fun. I'm excited for this one. I like Robbie McNiven. I like the Aeronautica. So let's figure it out. Let's see how this goes.
More planes. I guess.
More planes.
We're just getting so many planes.
More humans. This will be our, we've had Space Marine, AdMech/AdMech. We had Necrons. We had the elves and Space Elves.
Yep.
And now we have the humans.
Then we're going to go back to Space Marines.
Oh my God, I forgot we have that one too.
And then back to humans. So
Yes. I'm excited for all of these, actually, now that you're going through them.
And then we're going to go through Jen's favorite Traitor Legion ever. The Word Bearers. We just ordered it this last week. You can't have forgotten.
It's David Annandale, so
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it a try. But yeah, I did forget that we did order that one, Dark Apostle.
We just ordered it last week, and you already forgot.
I
You
think it
remember
was
to
more of
complain
like
to me about the shipping costs, but that's about it.
Oh my God. Like at this point, it is ridiculous. And unfortunately, because of the way the Black Library works, I can't be like, because that next book is coming out this weekend, right? You can't be like, you know what? I'm just going to wait and I'll order them at the same time. No.
No.
Can't do that.
Combined shipping. What?
Combined shipping. That's for the peasantry.
It is for the peasantry.
It's that, I had to go and look it up on the Warhammer community site, that Astrid Thurga. Yes, I'm excited for it. It looks, the Adeptus Sororitas, we'll get to it eventually because we got a lot coming on.
Well, this was getting us through March, so we'll get to
It is.
that in April. It's all good.
Yes.
We're getting there.
Exactly. I'm excited. We have so much good stuff to read this year. This is a really good way to start the new year. And we didn't start it with a Dawn of Fire book. So
But that already makes 2026 the best year ever.
100. Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. Preach. All right. Do you want to take us out, Carrie?
Well, I mean, we ended it with the Dawn of Fire. We got to end it on a different note now. So you've listened to the Warhammer 40k book club episode regarding Archmagos by Guy Haley. For those asking, it's always going to be Guy Haley till the end.
Forever.
Be sure to join us next time for Vagabond Squadron by Robbie Mack. We are an unofficial book club and not affiliated with the Black Library or any of its affiliates. You can find both the vidcast and podcast on our website, WH40kbookclub.com. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, and do all those wonderful, good little things on the vidcast on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, and the podcast anywhere you get podcasts. And come join the Discord. We actually have a whole lot of people joining in. It's been kind of fun. They're bringing in a whole different bunch of topics. It's kind of hilarious. They also show what they're painting. I'm not one of those people because I'm not talented. And also, just a random plug, I've been invited to help vote on the Hall of Fame over at goonhammer.com. I actually did the write-up over there
Nice.
for the Emperor, for the Caiaphas Cain novel, because that got voted into the Hall of Fame because it should be.
Absolutely.
So go visit goonhammer.com. You can vote every week. There's a new year of book releases to vote on, so you can go vote on them over there, and you can read occasional writing. The one that's coming up next for this coming week is the ones that are on there that tickled my fancy were Black Sky, Dead Sun, and Deus and Carmine, and yeah, Ravener's on there. But we all know I have a beef with Ravener, but regardless. So go check them out. The owner of the site has been a big fan here, been a great guy. So go check it out. Go have some fun over there. But check out our site. Not that we post a lot of articles anymore because life sucks right now.
Life.
Yeah. Shit is so busy, but we do every now and then put stuff up there that we have been reading with other Warhammer 40k books and short stories outside the book club books. So please stay a while and read from McCrag. I'm out of breath.
That was a lot. Take a breath, girl.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.